started in 1962, June of 1962, when that was when the first load of parts came in for the Brutus to be built. The first railroad, and I understand there was 40 of them through the years that brought in parts to build this thing. And I was a machinist, and I worked in the machine shop in the Tipple area. And it was quite a ways from where the building site was. I mean, in miles, maybe 2 or 3. And me and another fellow, John Murray, we were the two machinists in the shop. And our shop was just right next to the Tipple area. And we'd make parts for this or modify parts for this thing as it was being built, along with making parts for the Tipple and several drag lines and small shovels and trucks and dozers. I mean, there was plenty of work for us there to maintain the whole mine. Well, I was at the railroad and they had a layoff, and I knew Big Brutus was coming in, so I came out here several times before Mr. Sandine finally said for me to come to work. And I went from the railroad on a Friday night to the P&M here on Monday. Never missed a day. They needed another machinist, and it was not like they could hire 90 out of 1,000 people. It was not everybody could do that, so it was good for me that they had that opening. As far as in the machinist, you learn in that trade, like most trades, you learn something every day. And I've been doing it for 50 years. I worked here until 1968, and I decided to open my own business and my shop, machine shop, and that's what I did. And I have got to say, as a machinist, you learn something almost every day you work. And as far as mining, what people don't understand is the diversity of skills that it takes to do this. I mean, even the oiler or the ground man, everybody has their own particular skills that they've got to maintain and do. And because if they don't do their job, it's not going to work. People say, "Well, I'm a coal miner." It kind of minimizes the talent that it takes to do just to have a coal mine. But that's true with railroading and everything else. Well, a typical day was we'd start at 7, and we'd just, if they had emergency parts we'd make them, machine them, but otherwise we'd make spare parts, pins and things we knew they was going to need. But we didn't have a whole lot of time for that too much. Seemed like there was always things that they had to have right now. And and then after they got this running, my superintendent came and asked me to come. He wanted me to come down here one day a month and just walk around while I was running, listen for bearing noises, any unusual things, seals leaking, that kind of thing, just maintenance checkout. And if I'd see anything that should be looked after or maybe, could cause a problem or something, I'd make notes and give them to him. We didn't have a lot of the equipment we needed to take these big, heavy things apart and do that, so we'd have to rig up things. I'd always get in on all the breakdowns. And the only time that it was more or less dangerous was, to me, was one time they wanted me to go up to the top of the boom and listen for a point sheave bearing to see if I thought it was bad or not, because it was a big thing to shut this thing down and get that big sheaves down. And I mean, it was like a 10-day deal, and that was a lot of downtime. So I went up there and it was running, and of course I was out there on the end of that boom, and man, they tell me that when it made a full swing, it was going 90 miles an hour up there. And when the shovel would dig into the berm, that boom would drop that far. And I tell people I think my handprints are still on them rails up there. But as far as it being dangerous, you'd have to jump off of it. I don't think you could fall off of it. Yeah, well, there were just two of us. We worked with the welders, and we worked with the mechanic, not side by side, but they would tell us what they needed, and then we'd have to go maybe measure a part or something to see what it was and thing. But no, everybody was real nice. This was a good bunch of people. A lot of memories of the people and the guys, and some good friends. I didn't know that many people when I came out here. I'm from Pittsburgh, and of course a lot of them are from this area. My wife is from this area. She's from Columbus. I'm glad of my time here, although it was only 6 years, but I really am glad of my time here, and I'm proud of this machine and what it's done and the people that made it work.